foolish mortals.
Hello there. Are you insane? Get out of here!
Remain seated with your seatbelt fastened.
Right, off you go.
Welcome to Average Joe Orlando. Hello and welcome to Average Joe Orlando, reporting for KMV Travel. I am your host, Joe, and today we're discussing all the hotels at Universal Orlando Resort. Now, there are currently 11 of them, and different categories. They have recategorized them throughout the years, different perks for each one, and each level has different perks. However, each hotel has different perks. They also have different amenities, and I've stayed at a few of them. So let's dive in and discuss all the 11 hotels to see what might be the right one for your next vacation. This episode of Average Joe Orlando is sponsored by KMV Travel, a travel agency that helps families of all shapes and sizes plan personalized vacations and create unforgettable memories. No matter where you're traveling, to your favorite theme park, aboard a cruise, on an all-inclusive getaway, or beyond, the dedicated advisors at KMV Travel will provide personalized travel guidance and unmatched service at no additional cost to you. To learn more and start planning your vacation with expert guidance, visit kmvtravel.com/Joe. Now, Universal currently breaks, as the time of this recording, breaks their hotels into three different categories. They have the Signature Collection, which is like their top tier ones. They have their Prime Value hotels, which is more of the value ones, come with a little bit less, but still great. And then you have their Value Inns and Suites, and these have been recategorized recently because these are ones that offer larger rooms for larger parties. Maybe you're coming with a tour group or a sports team. So each of them have different things. Ironically, my favorite is in the Value Inns and Suites. Currently, they have recategorized them, as I mentioned, but we'll dive into them each separately. They do all have some things that are similar. Now, they all do come with early park admission. So every single hotel, no matter what you're paying for, you're going to get this. So basically, you're going to get an hour early at specific parks on each day. So depending on which one you are in, you will get in early 1 hour before any regular day guest. The annual pass holders, so anybody who does have a Universal annual pass, does also get early park admission. However, I could say as an Orlando local, I usually don't wake up that early unless I'm on vacation. So it's not bad. It's actually a great perk because that first hour, not as busy, you can get in and then kind of enjoy that first hour of hitting those big rides, and you get a little leg up on everybody else. Also, all the resorts at Universal do come with complimentary transportation. Each one offers something different, and we'll get into each one specifically. Each one does have a bus, no matter what, there is bus. Some of them have boats, and then some of them also have walking paths. So there is always that free transportation to get around. They also have, and your travel agent can help you book this, transportation to and from the airport. So Universal offers that. Kind of, you might maybe remember Universal, Disney having the Magical Express back in the day. Universal has the Universal Superstar Shuttle that will take you to and from the airport that you could add on. So if you want that transportation also. And some of their hotels, which we will get into which ones at the time of this recording, offer the Universal Express Unlimited, which is, to me, the best perk that you could do, and a really good value when you do break it down. So if that's something that you're interested, it's definitely something that we're going to discuss. But we're going to work our way up from the Value Inns and Suites, and then we'll go up there to the Prime Value, and then into those highest costing resorts. But for the Value Inn and Suites, let's start with my favorite, Universal Cabana Bay Beach Resort. That's a mouthful. Now, this resort is massive. It's my personal favorite because I like the vibe. I like the theme. Cabana Bay has suites, and then it also has regular rooms. They have motel-style rooms that will lead right outside. They have interior rooms, and then they also have Volcano Bay rooms that look over. So there's two of these big towers that look over Volcano Bay, which is a really cool feature. So you can pick what kind of room you want. Me personally, I like an interior suite room. The suites have a little kitchen inside, no stove or anything, but it's going to have a sink, a microwave, a refrigerator, a little living room with a pull-out bed, and then a sliding door that leads to the main room. So nothing massive, not like a giant suite, but definitely a value suite. So very cost effective, good for a larger group. They also have a bowling alley at this resort, which is neat. They have a lazy river, they have different pools, and they have a walking path over to Volcano Bay. So you could pop right over to Volcano Bay since it literally can be seen from the resort and back. They do have a walking path to Universal City Walk, Islands of Adventure, and Studios. It's a little bit of a longer walk. However, I have done it. It is fine, but they also, of course, offer all the buses. So there is the free bus transportation that takes you around. Cabana Bay is more of a retro vibe in there. They have a malt shop, they have a food court. Every resort on property does have a Starbucks and a gift shop, and they also have different bars. So a very cool theme if you're looking for a fun kind of like immersive theme, but also a good value for either tour, like large groups, sports, or honestly families too. This is, like I said, my favorite. There are 2 more resorts within this category, so 3 in total in the value inns and suites. The other 2 are like sister resorts. They're across the street from each other, built at the same time. They are Universal Endless Summer Resorts. There's the Dockside Inn and Suites and the Surfside Inn and Suites. Both very similar in style, so really no different in which one you want to pick. Just one might be a little bit larger than the other. The Dockside is a little bit larger. Surfside is on the old location of Wet n Wild. So if you remember the water park, Wet n Wild in Orlando, down on I Drive, Universal did acquire that park. And then when they opened Volcano Bay, they closed it. And then they built these resorts on the property of the old water park and then the old water park's parking lot. So it's a massive location. And actually the bar at these resorts have a lot of the themed drinks that are named after the old slides. So they do have, I think it's like a Disco H2O. I remember loving that slide. I think a Bubba Tub. There's all these different ones that are all actually themed to the old slides at Wet n Wild. So a little fun over there. This one is a little bit further. It's you can't really walk. You have to cross over I-4, so it is a little bit further if you want to go to like studios and that side of the property. However, there are buses that still let you over. I will say this is a big one for tour groups. They do have 2-bedroom suites, so you can get up to 3 beds in a room, which is really nice. So these are very affordable suites and great for families looking like a larger family or people that are looking to spread out a little bit more to all be together but still have a affordable suite. However, these are going to be the ones that are a little bit the furthest from any of the parks. However, nothing's really that far when it comes to Universal. Everything is still within a good location. So those are the Endless Summer. And then you also have, as I mentioned, in this category, Cabana Bay. Now, in the other category, this is now called the Prime Value Hotels, and there are 3 hotels within this category. The first one being Universal Aventura Hotel. Now, Aventura Hotel is the first tower hotel that they ever built. They have this really cool rooftop bar, which kind of turned into like a fun club at night. Great views up there at the rooftop bar. Anybody can go. You don't have to be staying there. This hotel is more sandwiched between Sapphire Falls and Cabana Bay and looks over Volcano Bay as well as basically everything. You could see Disney really from the top of this rooftop. The theme of this hotel is supposed to be very I would say stylish, sleek, and very like modern. They have these little robots that will bring like towels to your room. So it's supposed to be more of a futuristic vibe of the hotel. I have found this is more of a quiet hotel. So if you were looking for, I've stayed at this one too, more of a quiet one, maybe a little less groups, a little less kids, a little bit more adults. It's very simple. So think very like clean, very like basic amenities, but very nice. So if you're looking for something a little more quiet, a little more modern, when you get into your room, you have an iPad that will open up your curtains and it'll control your TV, your thermostat. So just a little bit more modern, clean, stylish, but still very close. So you do have the bus that will take you over to the parks, and then there's a walking path. And then you can cut through actually Sapphire Falls since it does share the same like parking area. It's in a garage, but you'll park in the same kind of area, and you can cut through Sapphire and take the boat over to City Walk, and that will take you to Islands and Studios also. Really nice hotel, great for the price. There are 2 more within this category, and they are newer hotels. So this is going to be Stella Nova and Terra Luna. And I feel like I have to say them slowly because they're a little confusing. I should probably speak slowly in general. Now, these 2 hotels are newer. These are on the other side. So this is on the Epic. So really, there's kind of like 2 sides to the property. The majority of the hotels are going to be over by like Studios, Islands, City Walk, and Volcano Bay. And then you have like kind of in the middle, you have Endless Summer, and then you have the new area. So you're going to have 3 hotels over by like the new side, which isn't far. It's a 5-minute drive really down. So everybody's like, oh, it's really far. I'm like, actually, it's much closer. If you were like staying at Animal Kingdom Lodge looking to go to Magic Kingdom, this is much closer. But Stella Nova and Terra Luna are more like a space themed. And this is the idea of more of like a affordable hotel but you could stay on property, and you are right behind Epic Universe. So the cool thing about these is not only are they new, so they're very clean, very modern. There's also a walkway in one of them. So they do have, obviously, the buses that will take you to all the parks and will take you back and forth. They did build a bus lane that connects both sides of the property. But if you go over to Stella Nova, is it? Yes. Yes, Stella Nova will have a walkway over to Epic Universe. So if you want to walk there instead of taking the buses, but you could always take the buses. These will always have the same amenities: early park admission, free transportation, bars, you have the pools, and then on the outside it's like these reflective panels that were all put on by hand, and it reflects, and it's this very like pretty looking building, and then at night the lights go, so it's very within the Epic theming to be on that side of the property. So a little more of a sterile look to it. I will say it's very modern, a little more sterile. You're not going to get the same immersive theming that you might get at Cabana Bay, or even Endless Summer has a little bit more. However, if you're looking to have an affordable hotel, staying on property, something new and very modern, this might be a good choice for you. Now, the other hotels are going to be all in the Signature Collection. So the Signature Collection is what they consider their top tier, and there are a bunch of hotels in here. There's actually 5. However, they all have little different amenities to them. I'm going to start with Sapphire Falls, because this one is like the weird one where they don't know where to categorize it. Usually they always say, hey, stay at a Universal Signature Hotel and you're going to get express passes. It does not count for 2 of them, though, and I'm going to go into why and which ones. So Sapphire Falls will be the first one. This one, to me, I categorize more of like a moderate. You're going to be above those prime value, but not really at the heart of the Signature. You do have boat transportation that takes you over to City Walk, Island Studios, and then you're also going to obviously have the buses and a walking path over to Volcano Bay. However, you're not getting express passes. They do have suites, so you can upgrade to like nice, more expensive suites. They do have a table service restaurant. Actually, they have 2. So that's where you're going to kind of differentiate it from those prime value, which only have more of a food court. This one does have a sit-down restaurant that you could enjoy. That's the difference up here. You'll notice there are like those little amenities that make it more of that higher hotel. However, no express passes, as I mentioned. This is supposed to be a Caribbean rum-themed hotel. Very pretty hotel, beautiful pool. The hotels do movies outside, so they'll do movies Into the Stars. A lot of times they'll have Universal characters in the lobby. So you're still getting those touches that you're still staying on property at Universal, no matter all of them. However, this one you're going to get a little more of those nicer amenities in there. So a little bit more of an upper kind of than the other ones. The other one that you do not get express, and I'm going to get into why, is the newest one, the Helios Grand Hotel. Now, this one, at the time of the recording, does not give you express passes. However, it is literally inside the park. So you are in Epic Universe. You have a rooftop bar that looks over Epic Universe. There is a lobby restaurant. Upstairs, the bar also does have food. You have early park admission where you literally walk downstairs and you are inside the park. So you could go in, spend as much time as you want, and go back. It is, as of now, probably the most expensive one right on property because it is new and it is the only Universal hotel that is inside the park. However, for that price, you aren't really getting that same perk as the other Signature. However, if you are looking to go to Epic Universe, spend maybe more than 1 day, which I would definitely advise spending at least 2, getting that amenity of walking downstairs and being in the park is pretty nice. The rooms are a little more on the basic side. You are paying for either the view if you want to get one of the theme park view rooms, because it is going to be obviously 2-sided. Either you're going to have a theme park view room or you're going to have a street view room. So the theme park view room is really what you're there for, to look in your window, look out at Epic Universe, and then walk downstairs and be right in the park. Very cool hotel, very pretty. However, at the moment, as I mentioned, no express passes are coming with that one, and you're also going to have a little bit higher of a price point. The 3 other Signature hotels are the ones that I would advise. So you have Lowe's Portofino Bay Hotel, the Hard Rock Hotel, and then Lowe's Royal Pacific Resort. Now, these are more of the traditional ones. So you have a very big theme. You have Royal Pacific, which is a South Seas theme. You have the Hard Rock Hotel, where you're inside a rock star's mansion. And then you have Portofino Bay, where you're on the Italian coast of Portofino, Italy. So all of these do come with Universal Unlimited Express. However, another asterisk for you, they do not work at Epic Universe at the time of this recording. Now, they do work unlimited for the day you check in to the day you check out at Universal and Islands of Adventure. Those express passes usually will cost a few $100s, and you get this actually all included for everybody in your room. So great perk right there. So if you're looking to spend a day at Universal and Studios, and you have a family, and you want express passes, instead of buying them separately, you might as well just spend a few more bucks, I'll say, and actually stay here, and it'll come with it, and it's unlimited. So you can keep riding Hagrid. You can keep riding Velocicoaster, which is worth the price of admission right there. So over at the Royal Pacific, out of the Signature, this is probably my favorite one, has different restaurants, a sushi bar. You're going to have the different pools. You have a boat ride that will take you over. Very pretty hotel, very tranquil, and very close. So a short walk to the parks, and then also a bus that will take you over to Volcano Bay and to Epic Universe, or a bus that will take you over to City Walk. I would say just walk. It lets you out right by Margaritaville, and it comes with those express passes. Then you have Portofino Bay. This is going to be a little bit further. However, there is a walking path that will take you over to City Walk. They do have the buses, as I mentioned, and then also you're going to have different restaurants too. So there's different Italian restaurants, a high-end restaurant. They also have opera singers every night that come out on the patio, and it's a very pretty resort, very nice. Just finishing up a giant refurbishment too. And then the Hard Rock Hotel, great location. This one is literally right next to Universal Studios. So less than 5-minute walk, you are out your door and you are in the park. For me, if I'm going to Halloween Horror Nights, I want to stay here because at the end of the night, my feet hurt and I want to relax. Boom. 5 minutes, you're at your hotel. Just went through a giant refurbishment where they redid every room. They always have live music either in the lobby or at the pool bar. They have an underwater sound system inside and under the pool. So like when you go swimming, you could actually hear rock music in the pool. They could actually give you a guitar. So if you wanted for free, they will send a guitar up to your room, and so you could practice guitar if you like, I guess. And when you check out, they could turn your room key into a guitar pick, which is really neat. So a little bit more of a theme there, but really good restaurants in there. Fun bar, cool atmosphere, and a great location for this one. However, obviously a higher price tag on this also. So really something for everyone with these hotels, and I'm sure Universal has more cooking up considering that they have just added 3 in 2025 alone to bring for Epic Universe, and they have a lot more properties. So it's going to be very interesting to see how they continue to grow and keep expanding their lineup of hotels. So if you're ready to have not the average vacation, be sure to reach out to our sponsor, KMV Travel, a travel agency that provides complimentary vacation planning assistance to families of all shapes and sizes to destinations including theme parks, most major cruise lines, all-inclusive destinations, and beyond. Start planning today at kmvtravel.com/Joe. Once again, that's kmvtravel.com/Joe. Link in the description box below. And with that, that is all the information that I have on the 11 hotels at Universal Orlando Resort. Hope you learned something today. And I am Joe, reporting for Average Joe, reporting for KMV Travel, and I will see you at the parks. Thanks for taking a ride with Average Joe Orlando.
You made it!
I knew you would. Is everyone okay? Hope you still want to open an account.
Say cheese! See you later!
Thanks, everybody. You were brilliant.
At this time, gather up your personal belongings and take your small grubs by their grubby little hands as you exit. Thank you.